Hello. Actually, I am going to show you today one simple pipeline using FastAPI, SFTP server, Docker, and the Python code. Okay, so let's start with that. So here you can see I have, let me explain the what exactly this thing is going to do. Okay, so first you'll be hitting an API and where the SQL query will be executed, and through that SQL query and that API will fetch some data from the API, and that data will be stored as a JSON format into this folder, JSON output. And next, what it will do, it will be taking that JSON folder, JSON files from this folder, JSON underscore output, and will be converting to CSV, and it will be storing into the CSV underscore output folder. And from there, automatically again, it will be taking that particular files, CSV files, and it will be sent to, our SFTP server. So whole process will be automatically, it will be doing, no manual intervention needed over there. Automatically, just I'll run the code and it will be doing automatically. So let's start with that. So here you can see I have written a dummy, first API. So that will be, we are going to hit this particular API. Okay, so here's some also dummy fake data I have given over there. Now after this API, so here I have written some Docker file, which will be Docker Compose. This is which will be creating a SFTP server for us. We're going to send the data inside the container. Okay, and now if I move to our main code, which will be performing this automation. So this is app.py, right? So this is the entry point of the file Python. So it will be calling the generate all CSV. So generate all CSV, where it's located. This is the CSV manager. Inside the logic folder, this function is file is written and this function is written over there. So now if we go to logic, oh, here CSV manager, and inside the CSV manager, you can see that I have passed this to SQL query over there. That SQL will be hitting through the APIs. Okay, that I'll come later on. So now generate CSV, all this function will be executed one by one. So now inside that, here you can see, right, I have called the fetch data from SQL file. So from where we are going to fetching the data? We are going to fetch the data by hitting the APIs, right? Which is created by FastAPI over here. So this function, where it's written inside the, if you go to the fetch data SQL file, so where it's called QA, right? So QA is nothing but query API. So that is inside the API folder. So here I have written this code, query API. So this query API, what it'll do, it will hit this particular API, which I have created using the first API. Now, after hitting this API, also it will be taking this no query SQL queries, and it will be getting the data in a JSON format. Okay, so once it will be getting the data into JSON format, so you can see here, right? So this function has been called, and inside that function there are two functions here. As you can see, read SQL file, it will be reading the SQL file and fetch the data and save. It will be fetching the data from the APIs, and it will be going to save into our folder. Which folder? As I mentioned before that, JSON underscore output folder, where the it will be saving as a .json format. Okay, so now this function is done. Now again, if we go to the CSV manager, so here I have called another function, that is generate CSV from JSON. Okay, so that whatever JSON file will be stored into the JSON underscore output folder. From there, it will be catching the that files, and it will be converting to the CSV. So where exactly that particular module has been written inside the CZ. So this is the CSV generator inside the PDF folder. So here I am going to here CSV, and here all the logic has been, I have written whatever required to convert the JSON into the CSV. Okay, so once it will be converting that CSV uh, JSON into CSV, and it will be also storing into this folder, CSV output folder. Okay, Now, again, if I move back to CSV Manager, here you can see SFTP uploader file has been, a function has been called over here. So SFTP uploader function, where it is I have written inside the SFTP folder. So if I go to the SFTP folder, here you can see I have written the logic of how it's going to take the data from the CSV output, and it will be sending the data to the our Docker container as a SFTP where I have created the SFTP server. So there it will be sending, and all this thing, this thing get env. So all the, if you go to the .env file, here I have passed all the values of that particular file. Okay, what are the things required for that? SFTP host, SFTP port, and all this thing. So now what we'll do, we'll start running the code one by one, and I will be showing that automatically it's doing its task. So before that, let us create, three things. Terminal over here. And also you can check it out, csv.output, there's no files, just an output, there's no files. So we are going to create three terminals. Uh, I'll explain why I'm taking three terminals over here. Because the one terminal will be running our first API, this one. Another terminal will be running our Docker Compose file, and another terminal I'm going to use for our main app. So now here, let us rename this thing. Then it will be good for understanding. So now first API I'm writing over here. Sorry. And here also I'm going to rename it. It's as, let me take it as app. I'm going to running the app over here. And here I'm going to run the Docker Compose. Okay. Let me running it as Docker. So let's start with the Docker first. So once we'll go to the Docker, here we can simple run the Docker Compose command over here. Compose up, that is up hyphen d. So once our container will be ready, so it started, right? So now we can check it out whether our container is running or not. So for that, we can check it out, docker ps command. So here you can see the dummy SFTP, this Docker container has been running. So now we can also check it, our Docker desktop over here. So that SFTP Docker container is running. That means our SFTP is up and running. So now we'll be going to the first API. So here, first API we have to run, how we are going to run, same thing, Python app dot mock.py. So once our first API will be running, yeah, why it's not running? Because we haven't activated our CSV. So my CSV inside the AI folder, which I was using previously, the same, VNB I'm going to use. So source VNB script activate. So once our VNB will be activated, we'll be moving back to again SFTP folder over here, and we are going to run this particular code. Okay, so our API has been started. Okay, so now we will be going here app.py. Now we are trying to run the main Python code, this one app.py, as I already explained. So how it's calling all this thing, how it's calling the API, this query API, how it's calling the logic, the CSV manager, how it's calling the CSV generator, and how it's calling the SFTP uploader. So automatically all the things will be performed. And now let us run this thing, Python app.py start. Okay, one by one we can check it out. Yeah, another thing I have missed it. So that same thing, I haven't start the VNB over here for this terminal. So again, I have to go back to AI folder and then source VNB script activate. So now our VNB is already activated. So now we can go to the SFTP and we can run our code SFTP folder. So now Python app.py. So this started running, right? So you can see right here CSV JSON has been created. This is the JSON, and also it has been created, CSV files, and also it's sent the file to the SFTP server. Here you can see uploading file to the SFTP. So uploaded completed, all both the files has been uploaded to the SFTP server. And now what we can do, we can check it out. There is a command. So we'll be go inside the SFTP server right now and we'll check it out. This saying the connection is closed somehow. Post key verification failed. Okay, no issues. We'll be using another terminal. Somewhere something happened. Right here, we can open another terminal, where you can check it out our things. So for that, Control V, I'm going to use this thing. We are going to try the SFTP. That means we are going to inside the SFTP and we'll try how it's exactly our both the files are there inside the SFTP server or not, where we have uploaded into the upload folder. So let us use that command. Okay, so our password I have given there test pass. It's asking for password. So now we are inside the SFTP. So now we can check it out. Here is the upload folder. Inside the upload folder, our this both the files should be present over there. So now if we go inside there and we do ls, so you can see that test CSV, test1 CSV and test2 CSV both are there. So this is the simple thing, automatically I have done everything for testing it out. You can take my code and you can use for yourself also if you need it for any kind of, such kind of pipeline if you are going to create in your industry. So that also you can use. And also, those who are doing the BCA, MCA or BTech, so they can also utilize my code and they can use it as a mini project. Thank you very much for watching this. Bye bye.